everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Welcome to InfoScope. I'm your host, Hannah Kim. As always, we have some of the latest headlines from the IT and science worlds. Let's first take a look at what's coming up on InfoScope. The video game Pokemon Go has really become a global sensation over the last few months. But did you know that the game uses augmented reality, or AR technology, which superimposes virtual images on reality? With AR's growing potential, the Korean Ministry of Education has decided to implement AR in textbooks from 2018. We also have a story about space mission. The 75-ton liquid rocket engine plays a critical role in the Korea Space Launch Vehicle-II, or KSLV-II rocket, which will be used for lunar exploration mission scheduled for 2020. After a trial firing of the rocket in May and 14 subsequent trials, the Korea Aerospace Research Institute announced that it has achieved a ground combustion test lasting 145 seconds. Let's find out more about these stories next on Briefing Scope. A successful ground combustion test for the 75-ton thrust engine that will propel Korea's Space Launch Vehicle, or KSLV-II rocket, achieved the goal of burning stably for 145 seconds. This October, a second 75-ton thrust engine will undergo ground combustion testing. The Ministry of Education announced that augmented reality, also known as AR, will be used in textbooks from 2018. The ministry will set aside 1 year for feedback and research, and the ministry may call for a larger budget to offset the predicted high costs. Korean researchers have developed a technology that allows eco-friendly mass production of photocatalysts for water purification. Photocatalysts accelerate light-based reactions, raising effectiveness by 4 times. The 3D touch technology featured in Apple's iPhone smartphones register a single pressure-sensitive touch. Now, researchers have come up with a technology that can allow multiple pressure-sensitive touches to be registered simultaneously. The researchers say that this technology can be applied to not only smartphones and apps, but also wearables and robots. I remember how impressed I was when the 3D feature on smartphones first came out, but we're already a step further. I wonder how the latest technology will be applied to our devices. But speaking of smartphones, smartphones are now being used to remotely control farms. With just a few taps on a specialized app, we can now activate sprinklers, ventilators, and more. We'll have more information on this in just a bit, but first, we have a story about a young group of inventors who put forward some interesting ideas to help the elderly, along with other inventions that are meant to help our everyday lives. We have more details on this coming up next in the next part of our show. Here's Industry Inside.
When you approach a door, a number pad appears automatically on the floor so that you can input the passcode with your foot. This locking system is meant for people who can't use their arms or whose hands are full. The door will open automatically with air pressure. This is a system created by an elementary school student for his grandmother who uses crutches.
할머니가 다리가 불편하시거든요. 그래가지고 게다가 할머니가 양손에 물 많이 들고 다니세요. 그래서 양손에 물건 들었을 땐 발로 열 수 있고 또 그냥 다닐 때는 손으로 열 수 있는 그런 걸 고안하게 됐고.
This smartphone app shows the key, note, and volume as a person plays the cello. It's meant to help beginners practice their instruments, even without a teacher. The inventor is a high school student who dreams of becoming a cellist.
첼로 교육 봉사를 나갔었는데 이제 제가 만약에 그 봉사활동을 그만두게 되면은 거기에 있는 아이들은 첼로를 교육받을 수 있는 여건이 굉장히 부실할 것 같아서 혼자서 이 어플만 갖고 연습할 수 있도록 하는 어플을 만들고 싶었습니다.
Some 160 different apps and inventions were showcased here based on the young inventors' experiences. Clever and practical, these inventions can be used by all.
우리 청소년들이 창의성과 열정을 갖고 발명에 대한 꿈과 끼를 꾸준히 키워가면서 미래에 대한민국을 이끌어갈 주역으로 성장할 수 있기를 기대합니다.
The inventors may be young, but their creativity and talents impress even the seasoned professionals. Their names may be behind some groundbreaking inventions of the future. Kiwi farm owner Kim Young-soo is busy cleaning out his storage. When it is time to water the kiwis, he turns to his smartphone. A few taps on a specialized app and sprinklers automatically turn on. He can also activate ventilators to control air circulation, temperature, and humidity, all on a smartphone. Kim can enable or disable shading and see real-time feeds of the farm without actually having to go to the grounds himself. He can react quickly to sudden changes in the weather.
이 스마트폰으로 작동을 한 이후로는 물 주면서 다른 일을 대행할 수가 있어요. 다른 일을 또 할 수가 있어. 그러니까 그만큼 시간을 벌 수가 있고 또 육체적으로 편하고.
Following a trial run, the state-of-the-art system has been implemented in 20 tangerine and kiwi farms. As the system is still in its infancy, the biggest task is to establish the stability of the control system. Moreover, the current system can only turn on or off the equipment and needs more functions tailored for diverse crops.
온오프만을 지금 기준적으로 지금 하고 있습니다만은 점차적으로 이제 어떤 데이터를 구축하고요. 그 데이터 구축한 거에 따라서 이렇게 작물에 따라서 이게 어떤 작물 생리나 아니면 작물 특성에 따라서 관리할 수 있는 그런 매뉴얼까지도 개발 가능하다고 지금 생각하고 있고.
The latest in technology is making farms smarter and less labor-intensive. A 3-meter car reaches a speed of 187 kilometers per hour in 2 seconds. This is the dream transportation system Hyperloop that had a public test in the US last May. The Hyperloop system features a capsule-shaped car that whisks people or goods through partial vacuum tubes at speeds of up to 1,200 kilometers per hour. At such speeds, a person can reach Busan from Seoul in 16 minutes. The Korean research team will independently come up with a core technology for the system. For the capsule to attain its maximum speed, air resistance within the tubes must be reduced. The researchers aim to develop a device that can compress air.
이 공기 저항을 줄이기 위해서는 하이퍼루프 차체가 이동할 때 앞에 축적된 공기를 뒤쪽으로 배출을 해줘야 됩니다. 그래서 진공청소기가 공기를 빨아들이는 것처럼 이 압축기가 앞단에 있는 공기를 빨아들여서 차량 후면으로 배출하게 되는 겁니다.
The capsules will float in the air with the help of magnetic levitation. However, this requires a significant amount of power. In order to address this issue, researchers will work on a power supply system that uses solar energy. Up to $1.2 million will be invested in the research over the next 5 years. The Ulsan Institute of Science and Technology aims to secure core technologies, first through collaboration with other research institutes. The ultimate goal is to create a Korean Hyperloop system. A significant amount of research remains to be done, but commercialization will be able to help tackle traffic problems and drastically change the transportation system.
Currently, it takes just under 3 hours to reach Busan from Seoul on a high-speed train, but it would be incredible if that distance can be covered in just 16 minutes. I really can't even imagine. Now, moving on to the next part of our show. In the past, human waste material has been harnessed for creative yet beneficial uses like fuel for trucks. But now, one team of researchers has found a way to attach a power gender to bathroom stalls, creating an affordable and renewable way of generating power. And in the field of medicine, Korean researchers have developed a method of mass-producing immunocytes that target specific cancer cells. The biggest advantage of this method is that it has very few side effects. We have more information ready for you right now on Take a Peek.
When viruses enter the body, immunocytes react in order to eliminate foreign materials. Dendritic cells recognize the virus as harmful agents and transmit orders to the T cells to attack. The T cells are generated en masse and attack the virus. However, unlike viruses that enter from outside the body, cancer cells form due to mutations of ordinary cells inside the body, and dendritic cells are unable to recognize them as harmful agents. Korean researchers have developed a type of nanoparticle called encapsulin that helps dendritic cells recognize cancer cells better. The researchers fused a virus-shaped and sized encapsulin with a skin cancer marker. When encapsulin was inserted into a mouse that had skin cancer, it repressed the progress of cancer.
암 표지 물질을 포함하고 있는 이 캡슐린이 수지상세포에 의해서 효과적으로 인식이 되고 잡아먹게 됩니다. 그러면 암 표지 물질을 T세포에게 전달하고 T세포는 암세포를 공격하는 원리입니다.
According to the researchers, the skin cancer marker can be replaced with a different marker to target other cancer cells, giving versatility to the treatment. This is great news for cancer patients, as anti-cancer medications that use immunocytes generate fewer side effects than chemical treatments. Many parts of the world do not have a stable supply of electricity due to lack of infrastructure or financial reasons. In order to address this issue, scientists are turning to urine as a new power source. In 2012, one U.S. research team developed a technology that extracted hydrogen from urine and generated electricity. While it was considered groundbreaking, it was offset by the cost of building an infrastructure. Moreover, the extraction of hydrogen required power in itself, reducing the overall effectiveness. Now, a UK team has developed a toilet that generates electricity with urine. Power is generated when bacteria in a microbial fuel cell breaks down urine.
Like any other living entity that eats and gets rid of its own waste, the same with microbes. But inside the microbial fuel cell, what we get as byproduct is direct electricity, and that's how it works.
The toilet is capable of powering bulbs and recharging portable devices. Building such a urinal is also affordable. A typical semi-permanent microbial fuel cell costs $1.50, and researchers estimate that only $900 are needed to set up one device. The researchers will test the urinal at university campuses or festivals and install them in developing nations that have power supply issues. Superbacteria are bacteria that have developed a resistance to almost all forms of antibiotics. Acinetobacter baumannii, which causes sepsis, is the most deadly multi-drug-resistant bacteria in Korea. However, there aren't any effective antibiotics to counter them, and only a select number of patients are administered polymyxin, as it can be toxic to humans.
아주 특별한 경우, 항생제를 더 이상 사용할 수 없는 아주 위급한 상황에서는 마지막으로 사용되는 약제가 polymyxin입니다.
Now, Korean researchers have found a way to minimize the toxicity of polymyxin and still maintain its effectiveness. They reduced the concentration of polymyxin by 1/8 and mixed it with an antibiotic called natropsin. The effectiveness of the combination was confirmed through an experiment with honeycomb moths.
병원균을 접종을 했을 때는 꿀벌 부채 명나방이 죽게 되는데 8분의 1로 낮춘 폴리믹신과 네트롭신을 처리했을 때는 꿀벌 부채 명나방이 죽지 않고 사는 그런 결과를 얻었습니다.
Researchers also found the composite substance to be effective against other bacteria, including Pseudomonas aeruginosa. If this treatment succeeds in clinical trials and commercialization, experts believe it will create a new avenue for tackling superbacteria.
New forms of treatment do not always have to be something new. Instead, just like that last story, it could be a combination of antibiotics. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the future there are new treatments when different pre-existing treatments are combined. Now this wraps up another episode of our show. I hope you all learned something new today. Remember, we will be back next week with more from IT and science. Have a great week and I'll see you back soon. Goodbye, everyone.